Now it's a time of competitive examinations and ensuing results. Did you write or appear for any examinations in your life? Yeah. Most lives is full of examinations, trials. But don't worry, everything, the outcome is going to be finer and enjoyable. Welcome once again to News Analysis. News Analysis, a weekly magazine on current affairs. To begin with, the main points in a nutshell. China dissident Chen Guangcheng escapes house arrest. KFC must pay $8.3 million to poison girl in Australia. President Pratibha Patil gives up post-retirement home in Pune. Soyuz capsule lands in Kazakhstan. Former BJP chief Bangaru convicted for bribery, sentencing Saturday. Syria crisis, Damascus suicide bombing kills 10. Now the news in detail. China dissident Chen Guangcheng escapes house arrest. One of China's best-known dissidents, Chen Guangcheng, has escaped from the house arrest and has released a video addressed to Premier Wen Jiabao. In it, he makes 3 demands, including one that Mr. Wen investigate what Mr. Chen, who is blind, calls the brutal beating up of his family members. Rights activists says Mr. Chen was smuggled out of his home in Dongshigo town in Shandong province on Sunday. His whereabouts are unclear, but supporters say he is safe in Beijing. An activist told reporters that Mr. Chen had scaled a high wall and was then driven hundreds of miles to the US Embassy in Beijing. Other activists say simply that he is in a safe place in Beijing. But the US Embassy has not yet commented on this issue. Mr. Chen, 40, had been under house arrest since he was released from 4-year jail sentence in 2010. In the video delivered from a darkened room, he said outwitting the guards keeping him under illegal house arrest had not been so easy. In the appeal posted online by Boxen, a Chinese dissident news website based in the United States, he asked that Premier Wen investigate and prosecute local officials Mr. Chen says beat up his family members. The safety of his family be ensured, corruption in illegal China be dealt with and punished according to the law. Mr. Chen names some local officials who told him that they do not care about the law and that a few hundred people were hired by the local government to lock down the village he lives in. Chinese authorities have come under international criticism for their treatment of him. At one point, his daughter was barred from school. Many sympathizers who have tried to visit his home say they have been beaten up. In the video, Mr. Chen says, "I am be free, but my worries are for my family, my wife, my child, my mother. Perhaps because my leaving, they may become the target of more brutal abuse." The plight of Mr. Chen was become famous around the world. US Secretary of State Hillary Clinton has repeatedly called for his release and is due to visit Beijing next week. An activist based in the United States who has been in close contact with Mr. Chen confirmed that the dissident had left Shandong, about 8 hours drive from Beijing. Now I can share with you, Chen is now in the 100% safe location in Beijing. That's how much I can share with you. Bob Fu, founder of China Aid based in Texas in the US, told the TV via email. KFC must pay $8.3 million to poison girl in Australia. Fast food giant KFC has been ordered to pay $8.3 million to the family of an Australian girl left severely brain damaged after being poisoned by a chicken meal. Monica Saman fell ill with salmonella poisoning after eating a twister wrap at a KFC restaurant near Sydney in 2005. The poisoning left her wheelchair-bound and unable to speak. KFC said it was deeply disappointed by the decision and would appeal. Limited resources, a judge of the Supreme Court of the state of New South Wales awarded the $8 million damages after ruling last week that KFC had breached its duty of care to the girl. The family's lawyer George Vlakis said they were relieved by the decision. Monica's severe brain damage and severe disability has already exhausted the very limited resources of the family, he said. Monica is now a big girl and they are finding it increasingly difficult to lift her and to look after her basic needs as well as look after Monica's younger siblings. The compensation order is very much needed. KFC have to date been determined that Monica does not receive a cent. KFC, which is owned by Yum Brands, expressed surprise at the judge's ruling, insisting the evidence did not show it caused Monica's disability. It has indicated it will appeal. We feel deeply for Monica and the Saman family. However, we also have a responsibility to defend KFC's reputation as a provider of safe and high-quality food, a company manager said. The court was told that Monica was in a coma for 6 months after she, her parents and brother fell ill with vomiting and diarrhea after sharing the wrap, the AAP news agency reports. The other family members all recovered. The family's lawyer told the court that at busy times the restaurant would reuse chicken that had been dropped on the floor. President Pratibha Patil gives a post-retirement home in Pune. President Pratibha Patil has decided to forego the proposed accommodation in Pune for her after retirement. President's office said she was pained by the media reports about Patil's post-retirement home in Pune. Her decision to spend her retirement at a newly constructed Pune house at government expense was a marked departure from a long-held tradition, besides the unprecedented opposition from a group of ex-servicemen. Going by the tradition, the retiring presidents spend the rest of their life in a government accommodation in the national capital or went back to their respective home states. Many officers who have served in the Rashtrapati Bhavan in the past cannot recall another instance of a retiring president in recent times moving out of Delhi and get the government to build a new house for him. Pained at fallacious observations regarding the post-retirement home, President of India decides to forego her proposed accommodation. The President of India, Srimati Pratibha Devi Singh Patil, has been reading and watching the unfolding of some fallacious observation regarding the accommodation in Pune, which she was to occupy after relinquishing the office of the President. She chose not to react as she was always held herself answerable to the constitution of our country and her conscience. It was expected that once the facts were made public, it would convince the concerned people. But despite clarification given by the President's Secretariat, it's unfortunate that misgivings continue to persist. What has pained the President the most is the fact that she is now being portrayed by some people as one who, agreeing to accept the defense accommodation for her post-retirement home, is insensitive to the cause of war widows and ex-servicemen. Former BJP chief Bangaru convicted for bribery, sentencing Saturday. Former Bharatiya Janata Party BJP President Bangaru was convicted by a Delhi court and taken into custody for accepting a bribe from a fake arms dealer in 10-year-old graft case. Arguments on sentencing will be heard Saturday. Convicted by Additional Sessions Judge Kanwaljit Arora, a visibly shocked Lakshman was taken into judicial custody after the verdict. I am of the considered opinion that CBI, Central Bureau of Investigation, had been able to establish the necessary ingredients of offense under Section 9 of the Prevention of Corruption Act 1988 against accused Bangaru Lakshman beyond reasonable doubt, the court said, while holding the former BJP chief guilty under the section of Anti-Corruption Act for accepting bribe. The accused Bangaru Lakshman on January 5, 2001 had accepted illegal gratification of Rs 1 lakh from Messrs Western International and has further agreed to accept the balance amount of illegal gratification in dollars as a motive of reward for exercise of personal influence on the public servants working with Ministry of Defense to show favor for award of a supply order in favor of the above-mentioned company of HHTI's handheld thermal imagers to the Indian Army, the court added. Before announcing its verdict, the court asked Lakshman, who reached the court a few minutes before 2 p.m. with his daughter and a few supporters, to come near the dais. Lakshman's face became pale when the court pronounced him guilty and ordered that 72-year-old be taken into custody. He was taken to jail by police, followed by court's direction. Meanwhile, the court appreciated the role of a counsel from both sides for their coordination in smooth running of trial. The case dates 2001 when a news portal, Tehelka.com, carried out a sting operation that caught Lakshman on camera receiving money from a journalist posing as an arms dealer. He later resigned as a BJP chief.